Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with IRS. Welcome to my YouTube station, the home of the 5 minute or less video. I've been doing this for 50 years. I worked at IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice, tax defense for 40 years. So yeah, this August, I will have been doing this for 50 years. Don't I look good for being a former IRS agent, getting shot at and still talking after 50 years? Anyway, I have a whole team of former IRS agents. I'm on the national news quite a bit. You can certainly look at my videos and my team at 777irs.com. You can go ahead and find us there, and you can see my contact information below. I do this station for three reasons, really. So you don't get ripped off. You get insider information from the Internal Revenue Service. And with that all, I try to educate you on certain matters that I can. So today, I want to talk to you today about the IRS trust fund tax and how to put an appeal together, really, if you need to. Let me just tell you about this process real quick. God knows how many trust fund cases I've worked in, the thousands. So as a former IRS agent, I call us the door knockers. We'd be banging on doors, seizing stuff, taking assets, boats, planes, everything, businesses, you name it. Part of our job was going ahead and making determinations for payroll tax cases. So I'd go in, and if you in fact owe payroll taxes, I'd try to work a deal without you. If I felt your business could stay in business, I'd certainly give you a payment agreement. And for other people, I had to close their business down because, you can't keep the Titanic going, and a lot of people thought they could keep raising the Titanic being buried in debt, and I did them a favor actually by putting them out of business. They probably realize that now. They didn't at the time, but I really did. Anyway, at the end of the day, if in fact you owe payroll taxes, 941 payroll taxes, IRS can impose the 6672 penalty on you. It's called, we call that the trust fund a penalty, or the assertion of the penalty. It's not really a penalty. Everyone calls this a penalty. It's called a penalty, but it's not a penalty. It's really a transference of the trust fund liability. What's the trust fund? It's the money that the business was supposed to hold in trust and then turn it over to the government. What's the money that was held in trust? It's the withholding tax, and the Social Security that you took out of the checks, people's checks. That's money you held in trust. Well, IRS says we want that. If the business can't pay it, we want that money from you. And who's you? It's the people IRS, like me, a former revenue officer, would determine who's responsible to have paid that. Could be a secretary, could be an owner, could be anyone who really made decisions for that company. You didn't have to necessarily write checks, but if I went into a business, I could talk to 5 people. I could pull bank signature cards, cancel checks, see who signed corporate documents. Those are the people that the revenue officer will find who's responsible. Well, sometimes IRS really isn't fair. What they do is they throw a broad net across everyone, and they hook everyone in the net, making everyone responsible, and it's really not fair. But revenue officers do it all the time. It's really an easy way out. If not, you have to go in, you have to take a 4180 interview, which is an interview for the trust fund taxes, and you'd have to do a lot of examination as to who's really responsible. When you go to a company, say who's responsible, they go like this. No one knows who's responsible because everyone's pointing to somebody else, as you can imagine. I've had fist fights in my office because of who's responsible. So at the end of the day, IRS gives you a chance. They issue a Form 2751 and 1153, and when they do this, they're saying, we're recommending you for the trust fund penalty. Well, that doesn't mean you have to accept it. What we do is we go ahead and we give you your best trust fund penalty defense, and there's a lot of defenses for that. So I just want you to know, if you're running across this situation and IRS wants to assert the trust fund penalty against you, you may want to give us a call for representation. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Give me a subscription. I really love subscriptions because YouTube loves them. If YouTube loves them, I have to love them, so I would appreciate. Leave me a question. By the way, you can make Calendly appointments. You can just see that up on the screen. Just make one. You can probably talk to Peter Salinger, a 33-year IRS RO, or you can go ahead and call us and we can do your representation. But anyway, leave me a comment, a question, and thanks again for the subscription.